Hello and welcome to the next episode of my free rotation series. Today we're going to be focusing on Samira, but before we get into the game, I'd like to go over the runes page. This will be a lot faster than Kennan's page, I can promise you that. Samira's page is actually pretty straightforward. Most people go these runes. There are some slight variations, but this is the general template you want to be working with here. So as you can see, I have Conqueror. Samira loves Conqueror.
I'm not built to win. I'm built to conquer.
It fits perfectly with her style. Her abilities stack up Conqueror really quickly, and when she pops her ultimate, that lets her just finish stacking and get a ton of heal and damage during the ultimate. It goes hand in hand, it works fantastic, and then for the whole rest of the fight, she's got it. Fantastic rune on her. I can't recommend it enough. Pretty much every single person takes it, including all recent pro play scene of Samira, which isn't too much, admittedly, but they take Conqueror. Now, for the follow-up runes to go with this, Triumph and Bloodline here are also to give her more sustain. Samira loves that healing, she loves getting resets on her E, and she loves getting multiple ults off during fights, even if the first one sometimes just kills everyone. She might not need more than that, but getting this healing is so important to her for making sure she can survive, even though she's in the thick of a fight as a squishy ADC character. Now, Last Stand can be a bit counterintuitive considering you're healing so much, but even with all that healing, you'll probably be riding the line of death and not dying. And when you're in that state, especially when that Immortal Shield Bow procs, you will be getting a ton of value from Last Stand. Alternatively, Coup de Grace is allowable. You know, you're going to be bursting people down, you're going to be getting some value out of this. Totally reasonable. Now, for your secondary, there are two main choices. I would say Domination or Resolve. I'll go over Domination first because that's what I choose to use. Taste of Blood is a similar reason to Triumph and Legends Bloodline. It's not a ton of healing, but it is going to help you keep healthy, and that is still very important on Samira. Now, I take Treasure Hunter as well because Samira likes to snowball, and if you can get that extra pressure and snowball into the mid game where her power spike is, it's fantastic and helpful. I would like to also mention some other potential runes. Eyeball Collection and Sudden Impact are also very good from the Domination tree. They are definitely worth considering. In fact, these two together have the current highest win rate in a vacuum for Samira. So if you want to go those two, totally reasonable. In fact, I would even recommend it. Now to go over Resolve, there is some people that go this Resolve tree. It's not noticeably more effective, but it is an option to go with this Revitalize for extra healing and Bone Plating to help you with trades in bot lane and be very reasonable. Definitely not a ton of people. It's definitely a smaller majority, but the win rates are similar. And if you prefer that style, you can totally go with it. I stick with this Domination tree. And these stat shards are pretty standard ADC stat shards. You want this attack speed, even though Samira isn't particularly an attack speed based character. She likes having it for the laning phase and getting that CS, and just a little bit of attack speed from this rune and her mythic can go a long way on her. So after that, you want this adaptive force. You need the damage. You're the damage carry. Get damage. Very important. And then lastly, you want whatever lane rune defensive, whatever defensive stat is relevant for the lane you'll be playing into. For me, I was playing into a Misfortune and a Xerath in this game that you're about to see, so I brought Magic Resist for all that poke, and it helped out a lot. So a lot of cases you'll be bringing AD for the bot lane for understandable reasons. A lot of ADCs are more going to threaten you with auto attacks, and you want that armor. This is my personal rune page that you're about to see in the game we're going to get into, and without further ado, we can hop right into it. So I will see you there.
I've got two rules for it.
Today, I've decided to take on something a bit more challenging than my last two videos and play some Samira. There's a bit of a importance to execution for Samira. She is naturally based around combos as built into her passive, and she can take a bit of execution and practice, so I've been working hard trying to learn what I'm doing, and let's see if I can pay off. A little bit of early poke is unfortunate, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Just did a little bit of starting stacking on our tier. The first thing to talk about with Samira is the starting item. I go with Doran's blade and a potion because Samira really likes getting that extra stats for the lane. You can alternatively go with a longsword and 3 potions. It'll give you a bit more effective health in the long run, but a little bit less stats. Samira does like to duel early and try to snowball a lead, so I tend to prefer the Doran's blade. I'll be playing along with this Nami here against Misfortune Xerath. It's going to be a bit of a hard lane, I believe, because Samira likes to generally have engage supports with her. She likes to go in, get those early plays, get a nice early kill, potentially, maybe around level 3 or so. Nami isn't great for that. She does have a knock-up, which is nice, so there is that synergy there at least. Being against Misfortune Xerath is kind of annoying because they both have a slow that I can't block with my W. Definitely not the best matchup for Samira to be playing into. So as for an early plan, I'll probably be letting the wave push into me and just trying to get some levels while not losing too much health. I can't really block a lot of their poke, so I might end up getting a bit screwed by that. But if Nami keeps up this good poke back on Misfortune, it might end up pretty good for us. Attacked the wrong one there. I kind of expect to be missing some CS, given the fact that we're going to be getting pushed in a lot. So as long as I can get some levels, should be all right. Our jungler said he's a bit inexperienced, so we may not be getting a gank. So we'll just have to do our best, try to let Karthus scale up to 6, and try to make a play when we can. We're waiting for opportunities. While we're here, I can talk about instead my skill priority. So you can see I went with Q level 1 because I figured we weren't going to be engaging. I took the Q. It's just going to help with some farming and some maybe getting some poke. Even though the lane's not great for it. You can definitely start E level 1 on Samira if you're playing with a particularly aggressive position. It's risky, but if you manage to pull it off, you actually can get a nice early kill, and it's definitely pretty effective. It's a good level 1 play on a snowballing character is a nice thing to have. Starting W isn't unreasonable. The only reason I would ever do it is if all this poke is really frustrating.
Last person I loved thought I was too reckless.
The only reason I would do it is if I was using it to specifically block engage on my opponent's level 1 play. Say they're doing an invade with a Blitzcrank, and I need to level W so I don't get hit by... I'm actually willing to pressure this. Yes! So that's what I'm talking about with waiting for my opportunity. So I saw that Xerath landed his stun on Nami and committed his spells to it. And I saw that both of them had very low mana. So I just had this hunch that they wouldn't actually be able to trade back on me well if I engaged there. And it paid off big time. So that's the kind of thing you're waiting for when you're playing against a poke lane. You're waiting for them to overcommit so you can punish on them. Samira has a lot of good going in potential, but if they have the ability to stop her still, then you're not going to be able to get the chance to use it. So you wait for them to commit that on a poke that doesn't work out.
I'm not built to win. I'm built to conquer.
And that will be a very nice edge to have in this lane because it was going pretty bad and that can salvage it. Now that you've got all your basic abilities, you should be maxing Q first. Having Q on a lower cooldown is important because it's the main way Samira sustains her damage. She isn't going to be building that much attack speed because she's more ability focused, and getting a Q in between autos will help you to do some semblance of sustained damage, even though you don't have... excuse me, even if you don't have high auto attack speed. The low cooldown, it gets down to like 3 or 2 seconds by the end, and that is pretty important for her. And then after that, we're going to be leveling up E. We want that cooldown lower, and we want the attack speed boost that it gives when you cast it. W is an important spell, but even when you max it, it's still a 20-second cooldown. It's really long, and you're really only going to be able to cast it once per fight. So leveling up doesn't make too much of a difference. That skill priority is pretty consistent for Samira across all games. We're getting pushed in here again. This is to be expected, really. Kind of what we thought would happen.
Not my style. Some choose steel, others bullets.
Things are going
Why not both?
okay-ish so far. It looks like the Silas is coming. I should have been able to make a play on that, but I was watching the map. Nami did good on hitting that bubble, but I wasn't paying close enough attention to get a profit from it. I'm trying to move forward so I can be there for the Silas play. Alright, so we kill Misfortune and get the flash. And now I really need to get home and spend all this money. I won't be getting too many opportunities to not have this lane pushed in, and I got to take advantage of it when I can. Alright, so early items that you should be working towards. You want this Immortal Shield Bow as soon as possible on Samira. She really likes getting that little bit of attack speed, even though she won't be building much later. This attack speed is pretty much all we're going to get. We're going to have some from our runes, and we're going to have some from this Noon Quiver. From then on, not going to build much at all. Like this Vampiric Scepter, Samira loves Lifesteal because her Q interacts with it and her R. Both her Q and her R give her Lifesteal, even though they are spells. So it's a great item, and it's pretty much just the mythic you'll be going with on Samira. She needs that lifesteal, but she still wants to be building crit, and that really just leaves her with Immortal Shield Bow.
Maybe I'll get a tattoo to celebrate the occasion.
Alright, got that hit on Xerath. Now that I've got my ult, stacking up these... Getting just like E or D every once in a while is very beneficial because it makes it easier if you actually do want to engage to get the full S rank. We're gonna be pushing into tower again. And got a little bit of rank, kind of threaten him a bit. Alright, thank God Nami has a heal to help me through this lane. That's really helping out a ton. Alright, gotta land there. This stun's down. If she gets too close, wow. Ugh. I'm having to focus a little bit on trying to survive this lane. It's just brutal. Looks like Misfortune's eating back minion damage though, so it's not unreasonable. I have to wait for my opportunity. I shouldn't have committed to that. Ugh. I committed to the Q, and you can't actually cast W during the Q animation. So I just chose a poor timing to try to go for that poke. And he punished me with his stun. If I had waited until after he threw the stun, I could have pressed W and then dashed in during my W, because you can actually cast that during W's animation and maybe gotten a good engage on him. So I kind of messed up a good opportunity because I got greedy for some poke before I went in. So that is unfortunate. I still have If any part of my Samira is still the weakest, it is my laning phase. I really have a rough time working with this shorter range that she's got. But I'm just trying to make it through to the mid game where I can really dive in on them and make them pay for all the poke they gave me early on. Whew. Ugh. Brutal.
I value strength. I value style. Here we find
All right. Okay, so that was another instance of me waiting for their cooldowns to be off, and then I just went in with my full combo. I am not fully sure if I landed it, but the goal with the combo for Samira is to start out with like an auto or a Q, get an initial hit, and then the important thing that is easy to not get quite right is you want to be casting your W within a certain range that you actually land the first hit of it. Because if you do, when you use your E to dash on them, we need to get out of here. So I just did it again there. I don't think it's gonna save me, unfortunately. But now that I'm dead, I can probably expound on it more. You want to land the first hit of W so that when you use your E, it counts as a separate tick of your passive and gives you your rank, which will make the second hit of your W also give you a rank, which is really quick way to get a S rank. The other thing you can do during that is if your Q is off cooldown when you're E'ing, you can cast that. Oh my, excuse me. You can cast that Q and you get like a unique animation. I don't know if it even says it anywhere. Oh, here it is. If cast during Wild Rush, Samira will strike all enemies along her path upon completion. That will also count as another rank. It's a very quick 4 ranks from just your 3 abilities. And then all you need is an auto before and auto after, and you'll get the rest of the way there. Very useful. So you saw while I was back, I did not actually end up buying Berserker's Greaves. In fact, in the recommended ones, it offered me these defensive boots as well. It's because since Samira isn't really using attack speed that much, defensive boots actually will keep her alive while she's putting out her combo and work pretty well. The reason I went with Mercury Treads is because I'm really worried about this Malphite Singed Xerath problem. I'm hoping that if a little bit of CC reduction will help a lot too. I don't think the auto attack resistance will help me too much against a Misfortune that's clearly building lethality and this set, even though the set is pretty strong. I do think I'm just going to need this magic resist and CC reduction. It's really a choice. You're either choosing between Mercury Treads or Plated Steel Caps. All right, his stun's down. All right, okay, we at least got, oh. He poked back in there for a bit. Oh, I wish I had my W to protect her. Good thing she didn't end up dying anyway. So, Samira really is pretty good at those all-in situations. So trying to find your moments for them is basically what you're going to be doing as long as you're in the lane. It's kind of hard to survive until you get those moments. You might have to give up CS, you might have to give up lane priority a lot, but if you can find them, especially if you have an engaged support, it makes it a lot easier. You can really just devastate the opponent. As you saw there, I was able to kind of just obliterate Xerath even though I had eaten a lot of damage. Thank God we got his flash and he kind of just messed up and walked back into my queue. It's a nice double benefit. It does look like this game's going a bit rough so far, but it's not without some advantages. I'm getting a lot of kills, which is good for me. Oh no! If I had blocked the Xerath stun, I would have been able to save her, I'm sure. That's what I'm talking about, the importance of... man, it's kind of hard to tell when I'll get the AoE Q sometimes. I'm still getting used to that. When I'm trying to optimize the amount of things I hit with it. But yeah, that's why it's so important to time your W correctly, because if I did block that stun, we probably could have gotten there with the 2 for 0. So now that I am done with my first item, going into second item, you have two major choices, which are the two you're seeing here, Collector and Bloodthirster. Lord Dominik's is also on here. I don't highly recommend it. While there is, you know, a good bit of tanky enemies on the opponent's team, because you're a very bursty character, I don't think the Lord Dominik's is going to get the job done on killing those guys quickly. It's just not going to make the difference, in my opinion. Whereas Collector will make you dish out a lot of damage, and Bloodthirster will make you more able to survive while you're making these trades. I can't block that Q. I don't know why I bothered. Oh, I tried to flash past it. Thank God. At least she tried to go for the kill. Alright, you just do some dodging. He only has rank 1, so it's not that bad. I misplayed it, and we still got the kill, thankfully, because of Misfortune wanting to hang around.
My folks keep telling me to settle down.
We haven't really been able to escape laning phase, but we are at least getting a lot of money. Singed is kind of a problem. Kind of just dodging back and forth. It's starting to get to the point where I want to make an impact on the rest of the map, but I still haven't really escaped laning phase and gotten the money for pushing in this tower, which would be nice. It's just kind of hard to push when I know the rest of my lanes don't have priority and I don't want to get pushed in on, mixed with the fact that Misfortune and Xerath don't really have the hardest time clearing minion waves. So if I just have to keep making money and getting out alive, that is useful.
Virtues?
All right, the combo went off well there. I can get over the wall using the Malphite. I don't know if I can safely go back in on this, I think. Yeah, cool. Another effective turn. Thank God my team was rotating back to help me out there. And we were able to turn that fight around even though they were trying to make a play on us. So that's what I'm talking about with that WE combo. It really helps you get that damage out in an otherwise dangerous situation. And I use that and able to win the fight. So knowing that little trick can be the difference between reaching S and not. I would have had to wait for probably another Q trigger. And if I did, I could even miss that, which, you know, not ideal. Xerath is already in bot jungle and Misfortune's back, so I'm not going to push this again. I'm just going to go back and buy this Bloodthirster. So the reason I'm buying this Bloodthirster is because a good bit of them are actually tanky enough to survive the initial damage of my ultimate and my combo, like that Singed did before my teammates cleaned him up. But they don't do the most bursty damage to me either. So I'm building this sustain style instead of full damage because theoretically, I guess in simplest essence, if they can't kill me, eventually I will kill them. That is the goal. The slow from her ultimate, or the slow from her bullet rain, makes it really hard to punish her, especially when she's got strut going. Even though she lost it to my Q, she got it back from activating it after the Karthus ultimate. So managed to get away with that. She's really eager to push these lanes, and I kind of really want to roam to help out my team that has a lot of other problems with it, because I'm definitely a big power point on my team, and I want to be the difference maker, but I also kind of have a responsibility to this bot lane. Check the bush with my Q. Nobody's in there.
They are wrong.
Maybe if I come from farther behind, I can punish this misfortune more effectively.
I don't work.
Ah, she just recalled. Dang it. It's kind of hard to make the difference here. Catch the wave, at least as much of it's still remaining. Catch this wave, and I think I'm gonna have to go to mid lane. Oh, I really hope Akali just doesn't die right now. I think she's going to, though. Yep. I can't safely push bot lane now with so many people in mid lane.
Some choose steel, others bullets. Why not?
Yeah, alright. We had mid lane. Now he's got ultimate. He's using it, that's good. We get the E resets. We get the R reset. Oh, the Singed interrupted it with toss. I was really close to an effective play. Nami knew what I was going for, and I think I canceled an auto attack with my Q, which definitely was the difference maker, where I tried to auto Q auto, and instead I just got Q auto, and I got it pretty delayed too. Fortunately, Nami was able to clean up, and I was able to kind of flex that power and make something of it. Not how I wanted it to work out, but a little bit of a misplay was the difference between life and death there. That is the kind of thing I was talking about at the start with why Samira is kind of a high execution situation to play against. Or play as. So I'm doing my best, but I'm still practicing, and it takes a bit more on this character than some of the other characters I've been playing. I guess while I'm going to catch this farm, I can tell you about the reason I'm building Death Stance next is kind of a similar reason to why I built Bloodthirster second. Even though it's not a crit item, it still gives me AD. It's going to help me, even though I didn't build... Since I didn't build any armor with my boots, it's going to give me some armor for this Fairy Fed set and the Misfortunes Burst. As addition to the fact that all the other damage is going to be kind of negated thanks to Death Stance's passive. Really still trying to work that AoE optimally and not getting it. I'm gonna go join up with these guys here on our side of the jungle. That's not good. I might be able to get him here though. Okay. Let's not do that now. I'm still building ranks. Alright, I'm at S. I just can't get a safe moment to go in, unfortunately. Yeah, there's just too much there. But I got slowed too much to leave, too. Kind of just a hard position to linger around, considering they had the numbers advantage. Maybe I should have just bailed out on it anyway. But yeah, Death Stance, help mitigate damage, give me some time to linger and survive while I'm dishing out the big damage. Get resets, get my E, keep the fight going. Maybe get my ult off multiple times. That's the hope, at least. It's gonna be hard, because a lot of my team is having a hard time. They might not be able to stay in there as long as me. And if all the CC on their team's focused on me, I might not even be able to get an ult to keep going. but it's worth a shot. The alternative is just going full burst with building Collector into Infinity Edge, and I don't think that would cut it this game. I don't think it's going to get me through Malphite. I don't think it's going to get me through Set, and if that happens, I don't really have any way to stay alive long enough to the response. So I will be going into Infinity Edge third item, though, because I do need that damage eventually. And then last item will probably be a Guardian Angel, just for the same reason the other two items. The more I'm alive, the harder it is for them to kill me, and my damage should be enough that they really need to. I don't need to commit to Lord Dominic's and say it's another good crit item. Mercurial Scimitar. That one can be good though. If the only problem is dealing with like a key CC that you can get out of the way, Mercurial Scimitar is worth considering.
I'm the rose that survived the desert.
Definitely worth thinking about. Don't need Phantom Dancers. I'm not an attack speed character. But yeah, the things to worry about. We definitely have a bit of an uphill battle to work through because we don't have map control. And Samira, as much as I have a ton of power right now, like I have a lot of damage I can dish out when I get the chance, I am still an ADC, even though I work, well, that's not good. Even though I work at an extremely close range with melees and spell combos and such, almost to the point of being a melee assassin, I am still squishy enough to be an ADC. All right, so I got the chance to go in there. Without these defensive items, I would be blowing up so much faster. So this is really important, but I wonder if he'll turn around for me. Oh, flash away from his stun. Oh my god, okay. That went really well. Wow, that was a really well-timed flash. I know sets love to do the ultimate into W combo, because, you know, you're stuck there. You're going slow, and then he gets the big grouped-up AoE on it. Either that or they Facebreaker into it. So I'm managing to flash away and dodge that while still being at the very edge of my ultimate range. Was able to shred him down with the rest of my team. Whew, that was a close one, for sure. But we managed to take down that danger, and we can finally get some outer turret pressure with that. You can definitely also use this moment to go finish my Death Stance and start working on my Infinity Edge. All right.
I never go out of style.
So we're coming along nicely. Hopefully we can keep this up and maybe threaten for this next dragon in 40 minutes, 40 seconds. They're on the same page there.
Oh, how great it would feel to shoot my past.
It's a bit dangerous to be walking into this jungle on my own, but I just want to get some vision down. I think I'm gonna go for this bush. So that will be up by the time dragon comes up. The Singed is a bit too far into our side of the map. I don't even have to commit that many cooldowns for it, so that is good.
Your life is not.
His Facebreaker's down. Okay, that's good.
The Empire.
We kind of box them out a little bit there.
We're good partners.
All right, so we're just kind of lingering in the area, waiting for our team to get some engage on them so we can follow up on it. We don't have too much initiation personally, but we can certainly bring a lot of damage. This dragon is starting up soon. Oh, wait, we got the dragon, right. So he was able to get the dragon while we boxed out, traded 1 for 1. Not perfect, but getting that dragon definitely takes some pressure off. We're starting to get into the place where we can go toe for toe with the enemy. even though they still kind of have some advantage on the map, and their engagement is pretty scary with that Malphite ultimate and Singed running at people. Just keep shooting them, keep it stacking.
My folks keep telling me to settle down. Not my style.
All right, he's got set ult. Really glad my team's been able to keep a level head, even though things have been going pretty rough. We've been able to make some pretty good plays together. Try to bring this back, even though it's in a dire situation. Oh boy, the ultimate. I don't think that's gonna hit anybody. Yeah, unfortunate, but maybe if she had gone for it at the same time as the Karthus, that would have worked out better. But it's okay. At least we have control of mid lane now. This is really scary. That was what I was worried about. I didn't know where the set was, and I was worried if I went in, he'd show up, and that is exactly what happened. Definitely not willing to give this up yet. It's very hard, but I don't think we're out of it. I'm about to get my Infinity Edge, and that'll be a lot of damage. It definitely wasn't a great play. Went badly. Should have trusted my instinct not to go in, or at least should have committed harder and got the Singed kill. If I had full committed, I would have at least gotten the Singed and then died. Which isn't great still, but it would have been better than my half committal and then dying to them with no benefit. Definitely let my nerves get to me and make a bad choice. But I've got the Infinity Edge. This extra damage should really help me punish them fast and hard if they try to do anything crazy. And then we can work from there. So we need to get this farm. We're probably going to be just playing on the defensive until their Baron buff runs out. And playing for the next dragon. Alright, that hurt him. Mid had to spend his ghost. That's good. Do a lot of damage because he didn't build very tanky. Oof. Ugh, these Baron buff minions hurt. She was slightly outside of E range. I could have at least traded that back. A little bit of miss micro cost me the misfortune kill and ended up costing me my life. And now they get the Baron push, so that's not good. But I tried to follow up the team for the play. Working on this Guardian Angel. I should probably get the stopwatch. It's not going to give me the most stats, but theoretically, if I'm a good player, Stasis is OP. I might not be a good player, and I might not be able to make the most use out of it, but for the theory of good practice, I'm going to take it and try to make the most of it. This game's been pretty rough. We're definitely still on a back foot, but it's also been good. I feel like I've had some pretty good moments. So, I'm not giving up yet. Still think this is a good example of my Samira play. I'm gonna try my best, make the most of this dangerous situation, or looks like we're gonna give up this dragon, and I think that's reasonable. Some people want to fight for it, but don't think that's happening. I'll head over there to make sure she's not alone. But I just don't think this is happening. Damn. Just in a bit too deep. Best I can do is not die as well now. It's not soul. Not great. Not the end of the world. That's good. Oh my god, I underestimated how much damage those 2 punches would do. I thought I could take them and then stasis afterwards. Man, really? My whole team wants to surrender? Alright. Well, that is a shame, but I thought we still had a good time. We probably could have fought some more, but we can go over what happened in that game in a moment. Alright, so it was a rough game. Definitely was. I think I want to commend the Karthus because he did say he was still learning, and he did a pretty good job. It wasn't the best, but did pretty good, stayed in the game. I could have given it to any of them, honestly. Felt pretty good about it. They tried their best. We made the most of a bad start, and we fought for a good long while. I think even if we had kept going, we would have maybe had a chance of bringing that back, depending on how well we fought the next dragon. It was starting to slip outside of our control, definitely. Took a few bad team fights. People got picked, and then we still tried to fight. Close. A lot of close calls that could have been in our favor. I do think overall I had a pretty good showing on this Samira pick. I had some good examples and some examples of where I made slight mistakes that could have been improved. But I think I showed a good example of Samira's theory. Going this Immortal Shield Bow sustain build into Bloodthirsters and Death Stance really helped me stay alive in some narrow cases like that set catch in bot lane. And that can make a huge difference. Yeah, look at that. Karthus did great. So, just some bad people getting caught out, even sometimes me taking engagements that were too risky. If things had just gone a little bit differently, I think we could have been okay. A lot of roaming meant I wasn't getting too much CS and XP near the end of the game, and that certainly hurt. I was really trying to make some team plays happen as between catching waves, and it did cost me. Games can just kind of snowball in that fashion. I think I will leave Samira on that note. I felt a lot of payoff for the work I had been putting into her this week. I think I'm ready to move on to something else next week. So I'll see you guys then.